All right, friends. How are you today? There's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot going on here in the United States. This isn't a normal astrology report like I like to do. This is heavy. This is heavy. I'm going to talk a little bit about astrology. Last video I put out was about the eclipse and about compassion, about a little bit less judgment of our left brain, of our Virgo brain, of right and wrong. What is the right way? What is my way? What is your way? What is the wrong way? It gets blurry. It gets confusing on what's right for some might not be right for others and how they handle a situation. And that's compassion. That's empathy. That's trying our best to put ourselves in another's shoes to understand what's happening. And this week, post-eclipse, has been an absolute wild shadow, right? The sun is illuminating the shadow of the earth on our emotional moon. And what are our emotions, our unstable emotions that we can't always see? You can't always see what's going on behind somebody's eyes. We might think, we might project, we might have a concept of what they're thinking, going through, but we don't know until we strike up conversation. We don't know until it happens. Until they talk about it, or until they might break, until somebody might, the straw that breaks the camel's back. Communication is so key. When we don't know and don't understand something, it's important to be able to talk about it. When you're able to communicate, talk, and express, we're able to find out. And in the last video, I talked about sometimes our communication can be watering the garden, and sometimes we can overwater the garden where too much communication can actually become harmful. It can drown the plants. It can drown the people in this conversation, and we might need some time to air it out and to reground, right? But ultimately, communication is here to expose what's happening on the inside and for us to share what's going on. And sometimes we just need to ask our friends, are you okay? If somebody's upset, if somebody's hurt, if somebody's abnormally angry, I am a huge fan of not giving up on people and saying, this isn't normally like you. What's going on, brother, sister, friend, cousin, neighbor? What is going on? Can I hold space for you? Right? And the answer hopefully is yes. I've got an ear to listen to you, even if I don't agree with everything that you're saying. It saddens me to see the shootings this week. I'm not a gun owner. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm just a man. Just an astrologer that sits here and talks about astrology and life. And I've seen on my social media feeds just divide. What's the usual word that comes with divide? Divide and conquer. Okay. I see a lot of division of gun owner, non-gun owner, right wing, left wing, men, women, men, vaccinated, unvaccinated, whatever. This is my view and this is your view. And because we don't agree, we're separate. And I can't connect with you in your space because of your views or your opinions or your beliefs, right? The North Node in Pisces, beliefs. This deals with our beliefs, our understandings. And when we create this divide and when we say, this is what's going on here, you're, with Charlie Kirk and this is the left or whatever. And then over here, we've got school shootings by somebody in the right. And when we just sit here and finger point, right, there's always these three fingers pointing back to us. And it's like, the reason for me creating this video today is to try, and I have tried for years to be a voice of reason. I'm in the middle, but I have my own opinions. I have my own beliefs as an individual. I have my own political opinions. I don't side with either. There's things that I can identify with both that make sense. There's things that I reject from both because they don't make sense for me. Okay? But I'm just another person of 8 billion people in this world that's trying to live life, that's trying to do my best for myself, for my family, for my closest friends, for humanity, something like this. You know what I mean? If it helps somebody, these kinds of communications, it's worth me putting myself out there. And even from the judgment and the criticism. When I started putting astrology out about 10 years ago, right? And I got a lot of criticism from the conservatives, the Christian conservatives. I got a lot of criticism from that. And I was rejected, right? It hurt. It's like I'm just doing what's authentic to me, what felt right and natural. There are things, then, and I work with the yoga community and the spiritual community, and there's a lot of left-leaning individuals in this community, in this space. And if I ever bring up something that's like, well, let's talk a logical thing here about a topic, a lot of times I'm kicked over and just say, oh, well, you're a Democrat or you're a Republican and you're this. And it's just like, so I get rejected by both sides. And it's a weird feeling, okay? At the same time, I have compassion. They're allowed to have their feelings. They're allowed to reject me if they want to. Okay, I don't have to. I don't have to belong to a group. I don't have to belong to one of these things. It's just important that I'm staying true to myself and authentic to myself. And that's where part of this message is, okay? Staying true to ourselves and authentic to ourselves mean we're not withholding. We're not withholding. This North Node in Pisces, belief, faith, unconditional love. The sun shines unconditionally. And it doesn't matter what's happening down here on earth. The sun doesn't say, I'm going to shine a little less bright today because I'm disappointed in you. It still shines. It still ripens those grapes. It still ripens the fruit. It still allows the trees to grow and those flowers to bloom. And when we experience news like we're experiencing right now, when we're experiencing this great divide, and there's race wars, there's the men and women stuff, there's the left, right, there's all of these civil wars that are happening here that are on your mind. And this Virgo Pisces stuff, guys, this is our left and right brain. Virgo left, Pisces right brain. There's a war happening in our minds of what's right, what's wrong. Where do we continuously show up unconditionally? Where do we make decisions and cut things off? Virgo energy. And make harsh decisions. No, I don't want that. No, I can't be around this anymore. Okay? And again, the North Node in Pisces is saying, please be compassionate. Please ask questions. Use our Virgo Mercury to ask questions right now if we don't understand or if somebody's withdrawing. Okay? And when we experience what we're experiencing right now, what happens is we withhold. We withhold our services. We withhold our authenticity. We can, not always. We can withhold just being a good person, saying hello to our neighbor because now we're scared. I was just with a friend today, and this is kind of what inspired this. And I'm sharing this with you, not to pat myself on the back, but to encourage people. And I was just with a friend today. I had a lot of meetings, and I left his place, and I'm on the phone with my dear sister, Liliana, I love you, soul sister. And I see this, as I'm on the phone with her, and I see this gentleman just leaned against the side of a post. And he's got a cart, look, I don't know if this guy's homeless. I don't know what his situation is. I just see this guy, and it's hot out today here in Detroit, and he's leaning against the post. And I pull over on the side of the road, and I hang up the phone call with my friend here, and I walk up to the man. I say, sir, are you all right? He goes, me? He says, yeah, I was just praying. And I said, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, I was just praying that I can make it to this destination here. I said, well, where are you going? He says, I'm right over here. I don't know this guy. I have no idea. His intentions is not, I can be a good judge of character the best that I can be. But I said, jump on in, man. I'll give you a ride. And I took him to his destination, and I saw what he did there. And then he's like, okay, now I got to go to my next one. And he wasn't asking me for a ride, and he was just going to take the bus. And I said, well, where are you headed next? And he told me. He said, man, that's just right up the road. He's like, well, I can wait for the bus. And he said, just jump on in, buddy. And, you know, we shake hands, and I get to meet this individual, Anthony. And he's telling me he's from Texas, and I was like, oh, I was thinking about moving there. And so we engage in this lovely conversation and just have this lovely moment and experience with one another. And I said, I hope one day when guy's 76 years old, right? Pushing this cart, hot as heck outside today. And it's just like, I hope when I'm 76 and I'm exhausted from walking down the street, some young whippersnapper shows up and offers me a ride. And we're not going to create that world if we're afraid. If we're afraid that someone's going to hurt us, if we're afraid that somebody's going to take advantage of us, if we're afraid of the worst case possible scenario. And the news and the media is amazing at highlighting and expansion, right? Expanding the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt, and telling you why you shouldn't leave your home and you shouldn't do these things and you should be small. And even with this, like, I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said. But what the guy did is he had conversations. And that is one of the most beautiful and powerful things that individuals can do, is step up and put yourselves out there in the light and talk about what you believe in, what you're passionate about. And he risked his life for it, and it got him. And I do not condone violence, and it's been very sad to see the individuals that are happy about this. I don't like to see any of it. It's hurtful. We've had, let me see. Here in Detroit, we've had a shooting on September 10th, on September 8th, September 2, and September 11th, August 22nd. Like, this stuff happens. There's medical malpractice that kills 220 to 450,000 people a year. There's all kinds. There's vehicles that kill people all the time. Guns kill people all the time. This isn't about guns. This isn't about how or whatever. This is about making sure that we're not afraid. We're not afraid to have a conversation. We're not afraid to stand up for what we believe in. We're not afraid to be able to engage in honest dialogue with somebody without trying to make it an argument. We can have healthy debates. We can have healthy conversations. And what's happening right now is we're scared. The news, social media, I can't say we because I am not part of this. I stand for something different. I stand for togetherness. I stand for unity. I stand for we're all Americans. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your faith is, what your religion, your belief. It doesn't matter where you went to school. We're all people that need love, compassion, food, a shelter, a home over their head, a community of people that supports and cares about them, even if their views might differ. That's what I stand for. And when we have these issues that are going on here, it makes people afraid to speak up because their views could get them in trouble. Their views could get them hurt. Their views, their opinions, the conversation can get them fill in the blank. And we can't be afraid to have those conversations. We can't be afraid to engage with a stranger. We can't be afraid to offer help to somebody. And wherever you're at in your journey, I hope, I deleted off my phone. I didn't deactivate my profiles, but I deleted off my phone, my Instagram, and my Facebook right now. And I just like this, this is too much. This is a little too much for me. And I even have a little bit of reservations about that, because it's like, I want to add light, and I want to add light in a dark place. So even as soon as I did it, it's just like, Aaron, are you saying that this is overpowering you and that you can't add light into this place? You know, I have to sit with that. And it's like, I'm probably going to add these back in here. I mean, I'm certainly going to put this video on my Facebook, but I can do that from my desktop. I've got so much going on anyway that's probably better not to have the social media on my phone. But it's like, if we can, these are distractions, and these distractions, they get on our mind and they raise our cortisol levels, they raise our fear, they raise the uncertainty, the doubt, and they make us scared of the other, the opposite, whatever that may be, of whatever war they're trying to push on us, whatever civil war they're trying to mentally push in our brains. It's like, when we put that stuff away, we're just people, and we just need to be people to people and loving to people. And our astrology is suggesting this. a heart of compassion is suggesting this. And I just want to share that people can, that you can, that it doesn't matter what their political beliefs are. It doesn't matter what their beliefs are in gun control or violence of that. Violence, that definitely matters. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like there's right and wrong reasons for everything. And to hold such critical judgments to separate ourselves from everybody right now is very dangerous. And it's like, it's what it seems to be, a giant big manipulation game. There's even other things that I could talk about here that I want to, but I don't. You know, I just want to let this be what it is, and allow us, friends, to know that we can still give. We can still give from a good heart, and to try to not see the world so black and white right now. Democrat, Republican, my way, your way, men, women, women versus men, white versus black, the whatever it is. All together, you know, we need to stick together. We need compassion. We need people to say hello to strangers. We need somebody to help each other out. So if anything, I'm just going to leave it with that. Please be there for your neighbors. Please be there for the people in your community. Try not to be a cold shoulder if somebody believes something different than you. There's a point in time they could really help you out. And if we're withholding and we're pulling back and you need a hand, you're not going to want somebody to pull back and, well, they didn't do this. They weren't there for me. That's not the world I want to live in. It's not the United States of America that I believe in. We can be in a rough patch right now. We're a very young country. And we're dealing with this new technological age and era of Aquarius, where all this information's out there and we haven't figured it out yet. We're still trying to figure out how to adapt to this overwhelming stimulation of news and people just pushing all of this information down our throats. How do we navigate it? How do we use our little Virgo flapper and say yes, no, yes, no? And what we're saying yes or no to right now, of all these things coming at us, determines what happens in Libra season judgment. And how do our scales balance out? You know? So it's being a little bit mindful right now of what we're consuming, what we're paying attention to, and how we're using that, and just to remember that all life is sacred, regardless of views. All life is sacred, and to be there for one another, my friends. Please just be there for one another. I love you so much. I wish you enough, and we'll talk to you soon.